Welcome back to Snowball's Kitchen and Susan Niebergall Fitness YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to talk to you today about the 5 reasons why you might not be losing weight. So if you're struggling, I want you to go grab something to write with and take some notes, because these 5 things may or may not apply to you. But the first thing we need to talk about before anything else is the biggest reason why you're not losing weight is because you're not in a calorie deficit. And that's what science tells us. If you eat less than your body needs, you'll lose weight. That's the simple part. But what's not as simple is figuring out why that's happening. Why are you not eating less than your body needs? So we're gonna go grab something to write with, go grab your coffee, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna give you 5 reasons why this may be happening to you. Okay, so the first reason why you might not be losing weight are LBTs. So, Susan, what the heck is an LBT? LBT stands for licks, bites, and tastes. Those random things that we do when we cook, random things that we do throughout the course of a day, a little bit of this, a bite of that. One thing I was really guilty of back in the day is taking food off my kid's plate. To this day, he still gives me a French fry or two whenever he has them. Those kinds of things are called lick, bites, and tastes, LBTs. And those add up super quick. And they're things that we don't think about. And here's the interesting part about that. We often think that if we didn't order that food, if we're out eating somewhere, if we didn't order it, those calories don't count, right? We didn't order that food. And so those calories don't count for us. And of course they count for us. We're not thinking about it as our food because we're grabbing off of somebody else's plate, or we're taking a bite of this, or whatever it is. But become aware of those LBTs, because you'll be shocked at how many times we all do this throughout the course of the day. Fixing LBTs could be one big way to fix your weight loss struggle. So let's move on to the second way. All right, so the second reason why you might not be losing weight is because you're overeating healthy foods. This was my problem for so many years. My food vocabulary was quite healthy, actually, but I ate a lot of it. I wasn't thinking that if the food was healthy, that there was any reason why I needed to keep track of calories. I didn't have to. It was healthy, right? It didn't really matter. And that's really a bad situation to get into, because healthy food does have calories, and some healthy foods have a lot of calories. And so you need to keep track of those every bit as much as you would keep track of fun foods, or if you want to call it junk food, or whatever. You need to keep track of calories for your healthy foods as well. If you think about, as an example, almonds. Almonds were something that I used to eat a lot of. They're healthy fats, really good for you, but almonds are very high in calories. And I would take handfuls of almonds throughout a course of a day, maybe to keep the hunger at bay, whatever it was. And by the end of a day, I probably had 300 plus calories just from eating these healthy almonds without even thinking a second about that. So be aware that just calories count, whether they're in a healthy food, whether they're in a less nutritious food, it doesn't matter. All calories count the same way. So just be aware of overeating healthy foods, because I can guarantee you, and from experience, that you can gain weight and or not lose weight because you're eating too big a portions in the healthy food department as well. So let's move on to the third reason why you might not be losing weight. Okay, so the third reason why you might not be losing weight, it's that you're not weighing your food. So over here, I have my food scale. And if you don't own a food scale, I would recommend go get one off of Amazon right now. They're very inexpensive and they work really well. What you're going to find when you start weighing your food is that your portion sizes aren't quite what you thought they were. Peanut butter is a great example of that. If you weigh a tablespoon of peanut butter, you're going to see the difference between what you think is a tablespoon by just looking at it versus weighing a tablespoon and the calorie difference there. Weighing meat, super important to weigh that. What you think you're eating as 4 ounces is probably more than that. We as humans just don't estimate calories maybe the best way that we could. We're just not great at that unless you've had a lot of practice of weighing and measuring your food. This is why giving yourself a period of time where you actually weigh every single thing that you eat will be eye-opening to you regarding portion sizes. And honestly, portion sizes themselves are the issue. We eat too much. Sometimes our portions are too big. So getting a food scale like I have over here is going to help tremendously. So when you get one, the instructions will walk you through how to set it up, how to zero it out so you can put a bowl or a plate on there and then put whatever food you're weighing on there so the plate and bowl's not counted in the weight. You'll get an accurate reading on how much you're actually eating and how many calories you're taking in. It's a great thing to try. You don't have to do it forever. I don't do it right now at all. But it's a great thing to have a period of time under your belt so you will learn more and more about portion sizes, and this could be key as to why you're not losing weight. So let's move on to number 4. Okay, so number 4, eating out frequently. Now, before anyone goes like crazy, let me just be really clear here. I'm not saying that you can never eat out when you're trying to lose weight. That's not it at all. But if you're eating out 3-4 times a week, maybe even 2 to 4 times a week, you're opening up yourself for overeating. And here's why. You know, you can go to any restaurant out there and look at like their salad menu. Let's start with that. We want to go out, we want to eat healthy, we want to get a good meal that's not going to be too high in calories, so we go right to the salads. And if you look at these entree salads that have like chicken in them or steak or whatever, and they're pretty big size, right? They're entree salads, not the little side salads. The big entree salads. The restaurants will start to put calorie counts down for a lot of their dishes, and they'll do that for their salads as well. And some of the calorie counts for salads, if you look at them, they're well over 1,000 calories for the entire salad. And here's the thing, the reason for that is they are accounting for not only the protein that's in the salad, but all the other things like those croutons that are really good, those little crunchy seeds that are really good, the dried fruit that's really good, all those things, and the dressing. And sometimes those salads come already tossed in dressing. Sometimes it comes on the side, which is obviously the better way to go. But my point here is that those salads have a lot of calories. And honestly, the number for calories that you see in a menu, you should probably add 25 to 30% more. And that's about the number of calories you're actually consuming. And this is really important, whether it's a salad, any kind of entree, anything from a restaurant. We don't know exactly how many calories are in your restaurant meal, even when the restaurant tells you, because here's why. You don't know who's cooking that night. So you could have Joe back there cooking, and Joe, when he's cooking up your entree, he may just take the oil and just do this, and then keep cooking, right? Cool. But then when Mike comes and cooks, Mike might be doing this with the oil, all right? And then cooks, and Mike's meal is going to be way more calories than Joe's meal just because of how much oil they added. And I can tell you this, restaurants like to add all kinds of different oils and everything because guess what? That's why restaurant food tastes as good as it does. I mean, let's make no mistake about this. So, whole point here being, whatever number you see in the restaurant menu, add 25% to 30% and use that as the number of calories you are consuming. And that will help you stay more on track calorie-wise. Because if you're eating out several times a week and you're going on just what the menu says, or you are figuring it out on your own based on, okay, a grilled chicken portion and this and that and a salad or whatever, and you're calculating it on your own, chances are you're under-reporting. Almost guaranteed you're under-reporting, which means you're eating more calories than you are actually reporting that you're eating. And it's not that you're lying or it's just that you're not accurate with that piece of it. So, yes, you probably ought to scale back on the number of times you go out to eat, absolutely. Because look, when you're trying to lose weight, there has to be some kind of sacrifice. It doesn't mean that you have to now stop living your life and you can never go out or anything like that. It's not that at all. But you do have to get a hold of it. And it might mean instead of going out 4 days, you only go out 2 days a week. Maybe that's the compromise there. So scale that back a little bit, have more control over what you put in your mouth and cook at home. And then when you do go out, add 25 to 30% over what you see on a restaurant menu, and that's gonna help keep you closer to what your calories actually need to be. So let's go on to number 5. Okay, so number 5, eating calories burned from exercise. This is a biggie, and this is something that many people do, and it trips you up. You have those cool watches and those cool trackers that tell you how many calories you've burned throughout the course of a day. In your exercise, just moving around from walking, just day-to-day living activities. The issue here is those calorie numbers that these devices are giving you are not accurate. And let's make this really clear. They could be not accurate as much as 50%. So if they're telling you you burned 400 calories in your workout, chances are you didn't burn 400 calories. 300, maybe a little bit less. It just depends on what you did. But the problem is if you decide to eat an additional 400 calories when you really didn't burn 400 calories, then you're putting yourself out of a deficit slowly but surely into maintenance, maybe even into a slight surplus. So the best thing to do is just ignore that, even though it's tempting, because even if you say, okay, you know, I'm not gonna eat back 400, I'm only gonna eat back like 300 or something. Even if you do that, chances of you staying at 300 are probably not great if we're being super honest, right? And so instead of even trying to chance that, your best bet is to forget about calories burned. They're not as big of a factor as you think. What you should focus on instead is what you're consuming. And the only way that you're gonna know whether you're actually in a deficit or not is trial and error, which means you're going to have to be consistent with consuming a certain number of calories in a calorie deficit, what we hope is a calorie deficit for you, for like a month. Be consistent with that. Track your progress from your weight, track your measurements, track how your workouts are going, track how you're sleeping. Progress comes in all kinds of shapes and sizes. So track it all. At the end of 30 days, you can decide if I was, first of all, consistent enough with my calories, and then second of all, am I making progress? And most likely you will be, and you just keep on at that point. You don't need to worry about, well, it says I'm burning 400, so is it really 300 or 250, or should it be 350? You don't even need to do that. Just take that feature off your device if you can. I know some trackers will let you just disable it. That would be great. And the worst culprits are when you're on an elliptical machine or the treadmill at the gym or something like that, and they're trying to tell you how many calories that you're burning while you're on there. You know, it's just not accurate, and it's not worth diving into, because those calories could be the reason why you're struggling to lose weight. So get rid of all of those extra calories you've been consuming because you've earned them back from exercise, and just focus on what you can control, which is what you consume. So let's come back and we're gonna wrap this thing up. All right, so to wrap this whole thing up, we've got 5 things that could be reasons why you're not losing weight. Those licks, bites, and tastes. Maybe you're overeating healthy foods, very common by the way. You're not weighing your food. I would highly recommend you start to weigh your food if you haven't done that already. You're eating out frequently, and we talked about how if you do go out, add 25 to 30% of the menu calories to your calorie numbers, so you'll have a little bit more accurate picture. And then eating calories burned from exercise, getting those as, oh, bonus calories, I get to eat those back. Do not do that either. One of these 5 things, maybe a couple of these 5 things could be at play, and it's part of what I call a self-audit, where you actually go through and you start analyzing each one of these things for yourself and where you fall. Because more than likely, you're going to find your answer in here somewhere to some degree. Now, the other thing is that, and I want to end with this because this is very common too, and it's not one of the 5, but it's something to remember, is we have to be honest with ourselves. That we're counting everything. If we're tracking our calories, make sure we're counting everything. And one way, if you're new to all of this too, one way you could do that is just start off by writing everything down that you put in your mouth. Every single bite, lick, taste of anything. You don't have to weigh and measure it right at the beginning. Just write it down if you're new to all of this, and you'll start seeing everything that you're consuming in a day, and you'll start to make adjustments just from seeing it. And I recommend you write it on a piece of paper and not type it into your device, because we are really on our devices all the time and mindlessly typing stuff in, and nothing's gonna really we're not gonna retain it, is what I'm saying. Handwrite it on a piece of paper, on a pad of paper. You will remember it. It will have more of an impact on you if you do it that way. And you'll start to get a much better awareness as to what you actually are taking in. So honesty can start with writing it all down and then go from there. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Click subscribe. We're out here all the time trying to provide as much helpful content for you as we can. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.